According to the National Association of the Deaf Census, March 2000, there are 28 million deaf and hard of hearing people living in the United States of America. There are over 1 million New Yorkers between the age of 21 and 64 that are officially disabled based on the classification established by the Americans with Disabilities Act. Not all in the deaf and hard of hearing community identify with this classification. These are the ones who identify with a strong sense of hearing loss, who have a culture of their own, a language of their own, a community of their own, and are able and independent people who lead full lives the same way hearing people do. However, there are no known statistics available to show how many deaf and hard of hearing people live in New York City. The deaf and hard of hearing populations have been disregarded and underrepresented in the census count of New York City under the state of New York and federally. Too often people misjudge the deaf. They perceive them as people with physical, mental, or emotional conditions and handicaps. Moreover, deaf Americans have been fighting to be included in the U.S. Census count as deaf and hard of hearing individuals. There were 22 deaf and hard of hearing people that were working in the World Trade Center on September 11. The question is, how many escaped? How many were injured? How many were neglected? How many died?
I remember. Monday morning. Well, September 10th. It was my 7-year anniversary from being clean from alcohol and drugs. 7 years clean. A friend surprised me with a helicopter ride around the New York skyline. I had never done anything like that before in my life, seeing the skyline. New York City is one of the most exciting cities to visit. It was really a nice flight. That was the last time I saw the World Trade Center standing. And then I looked around and said, wow, I felt so proud I wanted to scream to the entire world, I worked there. The 2 famous buildings, the Twin Towers, I worked there. I wanted to scream. Inside I was swelling with joy. Tuesday morning. I got up, excited and ready for work. I envisioned how I would plan cooking for the day. I arrived at work about 7:01. I got dressed and changed into my work uniform, ready for work. I went to get some breakfast from the kitchen in the restaurant area, which is outside my workstation. I looked outside the glass wall from the restaurant area, and I could see clearly Tower 1 soaring into the sky. Really, the restaurant is in a part connected to Tower 2, so the view to Tower 1 is very clear. You know, on the base of the World Trade Center, we are on the 3rd floor. Really, the base is 7 floors down. Yes, 7 floors down. People think the entrance is on the 1st floor, but it's in the basement. Technically, the basement was the entrance into the World Trade Center. I am on the 3rd floor from the main entrance. So I went to the 3rd floor to the restaurant to get a bagel with jelly and hot tea and walked back to my workstation. I noticed the time was 8:22. My friend emailed me asking if I enjoyed last night. Did I have fun? Then wished me a blessed morning. It made me smile and I put it away. I looked at the time again. It was 8:30. I got ready to eat and began preparations for lunchtime. Stuffed shells, chicken and seasoning mixed together in a bowl, with Jamaican jerk chicken seasoned with spices. I turned around to see it was 8:45, and all of a sudden there was a loud noise.
Rocked the floor. I got up and I looked at my coworkers with confusion. I said, "What's going on?" Then all of a sudden, I felt the building sway back and forth. I worked here for 17 years. I never felt anything horrific like that. I work on the 74th floor, and I felt the impact.
First thing, my reaction was to look at the floor. The floor was caving in. I couldn't figure out what happened. It's hard to explain what I felt as a deaf person, because I couldn't hear exactly what it was.
I quickly turned around and looked toward the window to the north, and saw an avalanche of debris falling down. I saw a blue and red airplane fall down past me. Everybody dropped everything and ran into a stampede toward the escape stairway. They dropped papers, everything, and ran toward the stairs except me. A coworker knew that I needed help and that I relied on them to hear. Both of us walked around and around many flights of stairs, and all I could ever think about was getting out of that building alive. I wanted them to hurry up. It was a painful journey coming down that many flights of stairs. I had to make sure that I was not in the fireman's way because I can't hear. I saw a horrendous sight. Some people who worked above me on the 80th floor, they were burned entirely from the impact of the plane. They were burn victims now. They walked past me, arms burned. I could smell their flesh. It smelled awful. I had to bear it as they walked past me. This was not something anyone should witness. Unfortunately, I was the victim.